Hello, folks, and welcome to this tropical storm short summary, going over the very interesting Hurricane Cesar-Douglas, which happened in 1996. A little bit of an interesting storm. So let's get started. Forming on the 24th of July, Caesar really wasn't a Cape Verde hurricane, mainly because of the extremely strong Bermuda high that was essentially hindering any and all development and keeping any and all storms pretty far south. Due to the proximity to land that Caesar experienced because of this high pressure, keeping it anywhere close, anywhere far, sorry, from the Gulf of Mexico, it took a little bit to strengthen. In fact, it didn't really at all in the Atlantic. It at least became a hurricane on the 27th, of course, right before landfall. As hurricanes do, they hate Central America for some reason. Just look at Hurricane Mitch. Would survive the crossover into the Pacific and become a hurricane again on the 29th, where it actually received the name of Douglas afterwards. Yes, this is one of the weird ones. So now Hurricane Douglas, technically Cesar-Douglas, would peak on the 31st to the south of Baja California, reaching its wind speed peak of 130 miles per hour, roughly, and then a few hours later reaching its pressure minimum of 946 millibars. Thank goodness Douglas didn't really do anything after this and dissipated on the 6th of August. As you can see in the image here, Caesar was a little piss poorly organized. I would not think that thing was a hurricane, but lo and behold, at the time that photo was taken, it was. Cesar-Douglas caused a total of 113 deaths and $203 million in damage. Most of this damage happening in Costa Rica and Nicaragua, which had some devastating effects on top of a maximum of around 10 or so inches of rain. Most of the area saw anywhere from 5 to 8. Wild, again, from a system that looks nothing like a hurricane, really. The significance of this storm is not only due to the damage that it caused, but also this is a very rare crossover storm that survived the crossover. In fact, managed to flourish after in the Pacific, actually. This was the very last system to have its name changed upon crossing over into a different ocean. Not every single crossover system is actually Atlantic to Pacific. There are some Pacific to Atlantic. Those are literally just straight shots north, though, and happen much more rarely. But still, at the time, the system was, oh, it crossed over, we gotta change its name, which is very confusing. I don't know why they didn't think of this earlier, but it was only after Cesar-Douglas that they were like, hey, this is confusing. Like, yeah, no shit. Anyway, this is also one of the furthest south Atlantic systems ever, with only, I think, around less than a handful even coming close. One of them is Ivan of 2004. Lastly, due to the damage that specifically when it was named Caesar caused, the name Caesar would be retired from the Atlantic name list. The name of Douglas would not be retired. In case this, you know, didn't get any more confusing, we're not going to retire both names. We're only going to retire one of the names. A classic case of why didn't you think of this sooner? My goodness. Anyways, this is all that I have for Hurricane Cesar-Douglas. I hope you learned something. The sources for this hurricane were surprisingly low. I literally only have the Wikipedia page, but I did vet to the best of my ability almost every source that thing has, and it's pretty solid. So I recommend you go check that out because it's pretty interesting. And then you can also see the list of crossover storms. There's not a lot. Anyway, again, that's all that I have for Caesar Douglas. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.